the president is madder than hell. And I've got the scars to prove it, given the briefings that I've given the president, the conversations that he and Rick and I have had on these matters. But at the same time that we're looking at accountability, we want to continue to perform to provide our veterans the services that they have earned.
The president's madder than hell. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Mark Levin. Our number, 877-381-3811. 877-381-3811. The president's always madder than... It's always madder than hell. Mr. Producer put a montage together of the president being madder than hell. Cut 2, go.
I don't want to quell anger. I think people are right to be angry. I'm angry. What I want us to do, though, is channel our anger in a constructive way.
Every day I see this leak continue, I am angry and frustrated as well.
If it turns out that some of the allegations that have been made in the press are confirmed, then, of course, I'll be angry.
I didn't have a dad in the house, and I was angry about it, even though I didn't necessarily realize it at the time. I've reviewed the Treasury Department watchdog's report, and the misconduct that it uncovered is inexcusable. It's inexcusable, and Americans are right to be angry about it, and I am angry about it. Nobody's madder than me about the fact that the website isn't working as well as it should, which means it's going to get fixed.
Nobody's madder than I, by the way, Mr. President. So he's very mad. He was mad about the AIG bonuses. He was mad about the oil spill back then. Mad about the Secret Service prostitution scandal. Mad about the IRS scandal, mad about his dad, mad about the Obamacare website. But he's not just mad all the time. The guy never sleeps. Cut 1, go.
And we will not rest until we reach a day when not one single veteran falls into homelessness. I will not rest until the dream of health care reform is finally achieved. We will not rest until we are succeeding in generating the jobs that this economy needs. I will not rest until businesses are investing again and businesses are hiring again.
We will not rest until we build an economy that's ready for America's future.
I'm not going to rest, and my administration is not going to rest in our efforts to help people who are looking to find a job. We will not rest until this well is shut, the environment is repaired, and the cleanup is complete. My administration will not rest until every American who is able and ready and willing to work can find a job.
Well, maybe if he got more rest, he wouldn't be so mad, huh? But actually he gets plenty of rest. So he's really mad over the VA reports coming out, over the deaths of men and women who've served in the military because of the bureaucracy and all the other screw-ups over there. And what did he do? Well, he went and he played golf. That's what he does. 170 rounds of golf. He went and played golf in Gainesville, Virginia, at a wonderful course there. It's a private course where the PGA has had several tournaments. And I guess he couldn't sleep, and he was mad. So he played golf. Now, the fact of the matter is, Obama knew about this problem. Excuse me, I have a little cold. Obama knew about this problem even before he became president. The Washington Times, again, had to use a FOIA. Again, I think, had to go to court to get the information that Obama received clear notice more than 5 years ago that VA medical facilities were reporting inaccurate waiting times, experiencing scheduling failures that threatened to deny vets timely health care, problems that have turned into a growing scandal. And it goes on about how he knew, he was briefed on it, and the problems predate the Obama administration. There's no question about that. Now, I'm not going to politicize this. And other people are trying to. I am not going to politicize this. We know who's in the White House. We know he's an incompetent Marxist. Imagine if he was a competent Marxist. Oh, good Lord. But he's an incompetent Marxist. And even so, he's done enormous damage to this country, and he will continue to do enormous damage to this country until he's an ex-incompetent Marxist president. But, ladies and gentlemen, here's a fact. The fact is that this isn't the right system for our vets. That's not to say that many vets aren't helped by the Veterans Administration medical system. Many are, but many aren't. And what we need is not a perfect system, because that's impossible, but we need a more perfect system. That's quite obvious. In a situation like this, where you set up a Soviet-style healthcare agency and system for good reasons and bad, it becomes increasingly impracticable and is always, in the end, an impossibility. The patient becomes faceless. The patient becomes a statistic. And we see this in the UK, we see it in Canada, we see it in France, we see it in all these countries that have taken, in essence, the VA model and have applied it to all its citizens, just as we are now with Obamacare. This program is supposed to be humane. It's supposed to offer earned subsidies, discounted health care for our wonderful men and women who serve this country. But instead, it's become the opposite for many, many vets. What are we subsidizing? Massive bureaucracies, dislocation, salaries, bonuses, administrative hell, in addition to health care. You know, of course, what is the solution? I mean, we have politicians and bureaucrats making decisions now. We have politicians and bureaucrats and red tape getting between the patient, that is the vet, and the doctor. So there really is so little to the patient-doctor relationship under a system like this. And the solution is apparently never to introduce market principles into a system or to unravel what has become a concentrated, powerful bureaucracy. Instead, of course, you hear the government needs more resources and more personnel, more of the same, more authoritarianism. Now, when they talk about humanity and compassion, the fact of the matter is what we get is inhumanity and a sterile system that does not treat people like human beings. And more people will die, and more people will suffer under a poor quality of health care than should and otherwise would. Waiting lists, reduced quality, lack of access to drugs, lack of access to procedures, price controls, rationing, lack of access to quality doctors. You lose control over your own health care, your own medical treatment, and your own lifestyle. Well, the difference between top-down, government-controlled systems of health care and market-driven health care is that the latter, that is market-driven health care, must, in the vast majority of cases, meet or exceed patient demands, or they go out of business. They lose to the competition because you don't have one iron-fisted Soviet-style system. The former, the government, demands more power and resources to fund a system that is fundamentally self-perpetuating. It's not patient-driven. It's not provider-driven. It's politician and bureaucrat-driven. No system is perfect, like I said, but some are more perfect than others. A healthcare system that answers to politicians and bureaucrats as opposed to patients and providers in the end results in the kind of situation you see at the VA and the kind of situation you're going to see all over the nation. And by the way, it doesn't just apply to healthcare. It applies to all sorts of things, immigration and so forth. Well, Mark, what would you do? Off the top of my head, I would think a voucher system would be far preferable for treating our vets humanely than this Soviet-style healthcare system. I'm certain there are many, many wonderful people at the VA, I know there are, who want to help the vets, and they're frustrated too. But this system is incomprehensible and impenetrable. The difference between we conservatives and the statists is that we tell the truth about such things and we search for answers and reforms that might actually relieve the situation. The statist is driven by a fanatical and ideological attachment to centralized government and its monuments to inhumanity. Some of them may mean well, some may not. But that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. Now, these vets have earned their medical care, unlike others who come to this country illegally, unlike others who've contributed nothing to this country but say they have a right to medical care. Actually, they don't. There's no such thing. But these vets have earned their way. And I think it's time that we look at breaking up the VA medical system rather than empowering a system that cannot work in ways that it should work. Some kind of a voucher. An earned voucher that's been earned as a result of actual service to the country, where vets can choose their own doctors, hospitals, and health care. But then again, that's not going to happen in this environment, is it? Because all the rest of us, well, we're even losing that right. You don't just need the VA to have a centralized, authoritarian health care system. The rest of us are about to experience it as well. I say the opposite is what's required here. Sir, my man Rich Cementa has been digging, and he found another clip of Obama. This from July 23, 2012. That's less than 2 years ago. Pointing out that he's aware of what's going on to a great extent at the Veterans Administration, as you would assume he would be. And he got it off the White House's own site from July 22, 2012. I know the vast media empire out there and all the resources, the billions of dollars these investigative journalists have and use to get to the bottom of stuff. And my producer just keeps digging and found this audio, which will be used tomorrow without attribution. But it'll be used now with attribution. I salute my producer, Rich. Cut, whatever, go.
And the VA and DOD will work harder towards a seamless transition, so new veterans aren't just piled onto the backlog. And we will not rest. I will not be satisfied until we get this right.
New veterans won't be piled onto the backlog. I will not rest until we get this right. First of all, a shame. He's never ashamed of himself. This man is shameful or shameless. Same lie almost every time. I will not rest. This man sleeps 10, 12 hours a night. I'm just looking at his schedule. I mean, what the hell is he doing? 12:30 is his first meeting today. 10:45 is his first meeting tomorrow. They got a lot of off-the-books meetings going on. Yeah, let's check out that IRS. I haven't seen anything like it. And they put out these schedules. I'm not making them up. So that audio, that clip was from July 23, 2012. He knew damn well he had a huge problem over there at the VA. And he always talked about, well, here's what we're going to do, and it's going to be seamless. He sounds so cool, sounds like he's on it. Off he goes. No follow-up, nothing. Nothing. It's like I love him when he talks about, we've got to do more on jobs. Hey, what are you talking about? You're the one that has your foot on the throat of the economy. Let's listen to it one more time. It's less than 15 seconds. This is July 23, 2012. Obama talking about the new vets returning. Go. Mr. Producer, go.
And the VA and DOD will work harder towards a seamless transition, so new veterans aren't just piled onto the backlog. And we will not rest. I will not be satisfied until we get this right.
Such a fraud. Such an absolute complete fraud. It's so pathetic. And yet, there you are.